Just finished episode 12 of Love is Blind season 7, and for my first time watching this show, I have to say, what a horrific season it has been overall. Not just talking about the editing, but the casting. I feel like they cast a lot of people that were not here for any of the right reasons, which means we gotta start with Ramses and Marissa. I've not been too harsh on Ramses. I feel like probably should have been harsher along the way. I definitely said what I needed to say about his fake, sanctimonious, liberal bullshit that was just all very, very fake. But this proved just how fake he has been the whole time. I think part of the reason why I haven't maybe been as hard on Ramses as I was on, say, Tim and Hannah was because I felt as though Ramses and Marissa did have a ton of chemistry, and at least they were talking about issues, because that is something you should do if you're really rushing into a marriage like this show makes you do. However, unfortunately, despite the chemistry, despite the connection, at the end of the day, Ramses is just a fake ass bitch. And I really want to talk about how I now feel that all of his bringing up all these issues with Marissa was like him trying to find a way out. What I was hoping all these conversations with Marissa about all his problems and how he's so unchangeable in his beliefs were him just trying to talk through issues. But now I do feel like he was definitely just trying to find a way out, because he was never there for the right reasons. He was there for clout. When she said during their breakup that he should not have come on the show, she was 100% right. I don't feel like he came on the show for any of the right reasons. I do feel like he was just there for a good time, clout, free vacation. The dude doesn't even seem to have a job, so of course this is what he's going to be doing. And I will say Marissa dodged a bullet on the other side of the coin, and like if they would have went through with the marriage and this is how he actually feels and this is how he actually is, he's so fake, then, she did dodge a bullet by the marriage not happening. So hopefully she gets over the heartbreak. She seemed very heartbroken because we were seeing the breakup in real time. But I hope that she sees that at the end of the day, this was for the best for her rather than being chained to a fake dude. Yeah, so Ramses, at the end of the day, one of the worst of the season. We've had a season of worsts, and Ramses might have been towards the top, up there with the Hannahs and the Stevens. But the worst thing about Ramses for me is that, even Steven, if people would have listened to people's red flags early on, like Steven talked about DMing women on social media. So Monica should have caught that. Hannah was a hot mess in the pod, so Nick should have caught that. Tim was making Alex his therapist in the pod, so she should have caught that. The only other liar is Tyler, which I guess we'll get to too. But Ramses was just so fake the entire time, acting like he was there for the right reasons when he simply just was not. So yeah, big this to Ramses. I think he sucks, and he kind of showed the problem with modern dating, honestly, where everybody's out there just being fake because they either have a bunch of walls up or they really just want to have sex. They don't want a relationship long term because they don't want to put the work in. Or, I just find like it's really hardcore to go on a show like this just to get your dick wet. If that's what Ramses was doing, that's going way too far just to get that. I think that seems very desperate if that is the case, but I feel like it was more like for clout. But even with dating nowadays, I feel like people do actually try and date for clout because of social media. Like, oh, look at our relationship, instead of just actually having a relationship. It happens a lot on Instagram. So it used to happen a lot on Facebook. Probably still happens a lot on Facebook too. So, yeah, I do think Ramses at least is modern dating, like the big problem with modern dating. Let's move on to Tyler and Ashley, who did get married. The problem I've had with this for many episodes now is just the edit and the lack of information to Ashley about Tyler possibly being a deadbeat dad to three children. In the show, he tried to explain it as he was a sperm donor, but in real life, the woman came out and has made it look like Tyler is a deadbeat dad. And then watching this episode and watching Tyler talking about his father not being at his wedding because they never had a relationship, Tyler just seems to be repeating a pattern of stupidity himself. And if Ashley didn't actually know about Tyler's kids, then I feel like the show itself did her a disservice by allowing Tyler to get away from that information. The show itself did not do its due diligence as a big show on a big platform of Netflix, not investigating Tyler's past. You know, the rumor is he lied on the application that he didn't have any kids, but you would think the show would go beyond an application for such a big show like this, but maybe Netflix just wings it. I don't know. So if it is the case that Tyler just has all these children and is a deadbeat dad, and this information was truly kept from Ashley the whole time, I just think that looks bad on the show. If Ashley knew all this, if she didn't know the truth, then it kind of looks bad on Ashley too, in my opinion. Then it just makes her look desperate, in my opinion, to marry someone who she wants to have kids with, but she knows is a deadbeat dad to three other people. I do think that's a bad look for Ashley. I'm sorry if that is the case. We'll see what the reunion brings. I think that will be a big focal point of the drama, although there's many drama to go around. We still have to hear about Hannah trying to change her self-image because she lost weight, and she's going to say, oh, she used to hate herself, and now I found peace because I'm actually happy with myself. That's the excuse I'm assuming we're going to get from Hannah, but we'll talk more about that after the reunion, I guess, coming up this next week. Garrett and Taylor did get married as well. They do seem like the most compatible couple, even though from the very beginning I didn't like Garrett. They won me over, I guess, to an extent. The biggest thing for them is I just don't care about them. But maybe on this show, which once again I haven't seen past seasons, but maybe on this show that's just kind of how it usually works. The most compatible couples are just boring because they're actually compatible and don't have drama. Maybe that's the case for these two. They had a little bit of drama with the whole texting thing. But, I'm happy for them. I hope their marriage does work out. They do seem to have the most in common out of all the couples that we saw in the end. So, good for them, I guess. But yeah, at the end of the day, Ramses really came across really bad in this episode, and he deserves all the flack he's going to get for it. He wanted to find clout, but now he's going to go down as a really huge scumbag for just leading on Marissa the entire time because he actually didn't come on the show for the right reason. And that's a fact. I don't want to hear any excuses from him at the reunion because I don't see how he came on the show for the right reasons. I don't buy I got cold feet at the last minute because I talked to my family. That just sounded like a cop-out, and now it just seems like he was trying to find a way out the whole season, and that's why he kept bringing up all his problems and kept acting like he's just so set in his ways because he's just so sanctimonious. I think videos ago when I called him like a Twitter account come to life. Yeah, he is just typical holier than thou bullshitter. When he's at the end of the day, he's just fake. And these water signs, man, astrology speaking, he's a Cancer. Scorpios on other shows, the competition shows, they show their ass sometimes. I just want to say, and yes, I notice I have the wrong date back there now, that it's actually Thursday, not Wednesday, the 24th. But whatever. Well, I hate having this thing behind me. but it is what it is. I know it's messed up people in the past. I can't even get the date right on it today. Anyway, I digress. Back to Cancers and Scorpios sucking and Pisces being the best water sign. Look, Pisces gets all this shit on media, social media, on message boards, Reddit. Oh, Pisces men. Yes, we're far from perfect. Far from perfect. We have our own issues. But Cancers and Scorpios looking like shit on some of these shows lately. And Taylor's the Pisces representative for this season, so big ups to Pisces. Another win for Pisces. Except we don't know how to change calendars because we're actually lost. We're not actually here in the real world. In my opinion, it is Wednesday the 24th, not Thursday the 24th, because I live in Pisces La La Land, apparently.